ATL.GA faithful, my people. I'm D. Douglas Carter, back on the scene doing my thing, and I just want to say I appreciate you and the work that you do. Let's talk NFL 2023 draft for our Atlanta Falcons, man. I got so much to say, but I'm just going to throw a mock draft at you real quick, and then I'm going to throw out some names of other players that I think we could get that I like, and later I'll drop another video possibly on all the different scenarios that the draft could go and possibilities, because there's so many possibilities, there's so many options. I don't really feel like the Atlanta Falcons can mess this up. There's rare instances of a pick that I would not like, but there's a lot more instances where we could pick a player that I might not particularly want at 8 or at 44, but I'm like, okay, that's still a good player and we can rock with them. So stay tuned for some more content. Right now, I'm going to get into this mock draft. I'm going to tell y'all some hidden gems that I found and some players, that we all know. Let's go ahead and get to it. All right. In this scenario, we stay packed. We don't move up. We don't move down. And look who's there. At number 8, Tyree Wilson, the edge out of Texas Tech, which is more of your traditional defensive end, 6'6", 275 pounds, and an absolute wrecking machine. He is coming off a foot injury, but I think he will still make noise as a primetime player in the NFL. So there, we address our edge right there. Someone to learn from Calais Campbell and take the next steps to being a pro for our Atlanta Falcons. At number 44, the defensive tackle, Brian Bresee, or Breesy, however you want to say it. Somehow he fell to number 44, and we're going to add another piece to our defense. He's coming off injuries too, but I like his makeup. I like his ethos, as TF would say, and I will welcome him to the team. Clemson players, line him up next to Grady, another Clemson player, and let's run it. At number 75, Tyler Scott, wide receiver out of Cincinnati. Hold on, let me back up to Brian Bresee, 6'5", 305 pounds, and his sack production hasn't always been there, but I still think he could be good for us. All right, my bad, y'all. Moving on to Tyler Scott, okay, wide receiver out of Cincinnati, already has a good rapport with our quarterback, Desmond Ridder. He is not that big, tall wide receiver that Arthur Smith likes, but I think we have enough big, tall wide receivers on the roster, and with OZ leaving, I think Tyler Scott jumps right in and takes that spot. He's bigger than Scotty Miller that we recently signed, and he's still pretty fast. He has like 4.4 speed. He's 5'11", 185. So, he's not too small, but he's not your tall sequoia redwood tree, like Kyle Pitts or Drake London. He's not that big, but he's still vital in the passing game, and I think we need a quick slot receiver of his caliber. He also has really nice hands. He can make any play. He can do the jet sweeps, and Desmond Ridder, that's his guy, you know what I'm saying? So why not add some familiarity, or however you want to say it, to the squad? Anyway, pick 110 in the 4th round, Chandler Zavala. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this guy. Offensive guard out of North Carolina State. He's 6'5", 325 pounds, and I watched his tape, and I think he's just as good as some of the offensive linemen that's taken higher in the draft. If he falls to us here, I think we take him, okay? Now, this next pick at 113, corner out of Purdue, Corey Trice Jr. This guy is the real deal. I do not understand why nobody's talking about him. If I'm throwing names at y'all and y'all haven't heard of them, do yourself, a favor. If you have time or you're just interested, look up these guys, look up their tape, look up, some interviews on them or whatever, and see what they're about. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. So Corey Trice, he's 6'3", 215 pounds. He has the length to be an NFL corner. Okay, he has 4.47 speed. Okay, he had 2 interceptions last year. He's a 5-year college vet. He did tear his ACL in 2021, and he was on the watch list for Comeback Player of the Year. I think he's really good. He's really solid. He's solid in his tackles. He's solid in his coverage, and he's a playmaker that I think people are sleeping on. He could slide to us right here, and then we got our corner, okay? At 224, Yasir Abdullah. If this edge falls this far, I think it's an absolute steal. I haven't heard many people talking about him. He's out of Louisville. He's 6'1", 242 pounds. He had 9.5 sacks last year, 4 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions. Then in 2021, he had 10 sacks. He also has 4.47 speed, okay? Yasir Abdullah is an absolute baller, okay? With the next pick at 225, I'm taking the running back out of Marshall, Kalen LeBurn, okay? It looks like LeBorn, but I heard him, he said he wants it pronounced LeBurn, so that's what we do. This running back right here is a very interesting story. He might go undrafted. He might go higher than this, but he is an absolute beast, or, whatever you want to say. Plug in the word that you want. Game changer, playmaker. He's 5'11", 212 pounds. He started out his college career with Florida State. He got a little playing time and showed flashes, but I think he had some off the field issues with team rules and stuff like that. So he had to go to a JUCO college and then transfer back to Florida State to graduate, and then he went to Marshall. But this guy right here, he had 300 attempts last year, 302 attempts. He had 1,513 yards, 16 touchdowns, okay? He averaged 5 yards per carry, and he can catch the ball out the backfield. He can make the blocks, and he can do whatever. So as long as he's matured and got his mind right, he seems like it would be a nice pairing with Tyler Algier as like a late round steal, or maybe an undrafted signing. He has hit 4.4 speed, and he will run you over as well. He's a former 5-star recruit, okay, that kind of slid through the cracks and had to get his life right. So anyway, that's what we got right here. So let's recap it. We got our traditional defensive end in Tyree Wilson. I love that. We got another defensive tackle in Brian Bresee. I love that pick. Tyler Scott, familiarity, a slot wide receiver for Desmond Ridder. I love that. Chandler Zavala, a guard. You can just plug him in. I think he's ready to go at the NFL level. I love that pick. Corey Trice Jr., the corner out of Purdue. I think he's being slept on, and I think he could be a great pick for Atlanta Falcons. Yasir Abdullah, he's an outside linebacker, and we could add him to the outside linebacker room in the depth, and he's a baller, okay? And then Kalen LeBurn, he could be a gem in the late rounds to add some running back depth. So we got our defensive end, we got our defensive tackle, we got our wide receiver, we got our left guard, we got our corner, we got our linebacker, and we got our running back. Now, real quick, tell me what y'all think of this, and then I'm gonna hit y'all with some other players that I like, starting with edge. I mean, the edge class is pretty deep. You got Nolan Smith, Miles Murphy, Lucas Van Ness, Will McDonald, B.J. Ojolari, Keon White, Isaiah Foskey, which I think people are sleeping on, Isaiah McGuire, which I think people are sleeping on. Carl Brooks out of Bowling Green is a good defensive lineman. KJ Henry from Clemson, Yaya Diaby. I've been high on him the whole time. He's starting to move up the boards. You got Andre Carter, the Army guy. He could maybe come in and do some work. And then I don't hear anybody say Dylon Horton out of TCU, but he could be another edge to keep an eye on, okay? Defensive tackle, the class is Jalen Carter first, Kalisha Cansey, Mozzie Smith, Brian Brisset, Keanu Benton, which I also like, and Siaka Ika if you want to get that big nose tackle run stuffer, okay? Cornerbacks is deep. You know, you got Gonzalez, you got Witherspoon at the top, Joey Porter, Emmanuel Forbes, who I really like. You got Cam Smith and Darius Rush out of South Carolina, DJ Turner out of Michigan, who's a burner, Keely Ringo from Georgia, Julius Brents from Kansas State, Rajon Wright is a name not too many people are mentioning, which could be a good pickup right there. Jalen Jones, Riley Moss, and then Starling Thomas is a sleeper, and Caillou Blue Kelly. It could be also be a good choice there. Okay. Now, with the offensive line class, you know, we got a lot to choose from there as well. You got the top tier guys. You got Pete Skoronski. Okay, you know, you got Osiris Torrance. Okay, you got you know, Joe Tipman, Cody Mock, Steve Avila, Paris Johnson, Darnell Wright, Anton Harrison, Broderick Jones out of Georgia, Matthew Bergeron, Wanye Morris. Then you got the guy that I like that I selected, Chandler Zavala. You also have Luke Whippler and John Michael Schmitz. In the later rounds, you got Antonio Mafia that I like. You got Nick Broker, Alex Forsyth. Now, we can get a guy, and it doesn't have to be with the number 8 pick. The offensive line class, I don't see so much separation, you know, in this class. I really like Cody Mock. I like Steve Avila. I like Joe Tipman. Okay, I like Broderick Jones. I like Osiris Torrance. But, you know, I also like Nick Broker and Antonio Maffi in the later rounds. Zavala, I chose him here because I think he's a steal right here. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. This draft is going to be crazy. Okay, we also have wide receivers. You know, there's Jalen Hyatt maybe in the second round. Cedric Tillman, the other wide receiver from Tennessee. Rashee Rice, which I really like, out of SMU. A.T. Perry out of Wake Forest. You got Jaden Reed out of Michigan State. Trey Palmer from Nebraska. I like him. He's got 4.3 speed. Xavier Hutchinson out of Iowa State, a taller wide receiver. Bryce Ford Wheaton out of West Virginia, another tall wide receiver who runs, you know, 4.3, 4.4 speed. Okay. Jadakiss Bonds is a late round, maybe undrafted, you know, steal out of Hampton, HBCU College, another tall, good wide receiver. You got Trey Tucker, a smaller scat back type receiver out of Cincinnati. You got Darius Davis, wide receiver out of TCU, 4.3 speed guy. So there's a lot of wide receivers. There's a lot of players at every position that we need that can come in and help this team, regardless of the draft order or how you want to select them. I think you can find gems almost at every single level in this draft. I didn't touch on safety because I feel like we got Jesse Bates, we got Richie Grant, we got Jalen Hawkins, and, you know, I think we're good. We got Mike Hughes, we got some depth, you know, we got enough safeties and nickels and corners. I mean, we're going to probably add one in the draft, and then I think we will be straight there. So, I mean, the Falcons are doing a great job building this team up. I'm going to hit y'all up with some more content. Y'all let me know what y'all think of this draft right here. Tell me what you would do different if you like a player, if you don't like a player. And I strongly urge you to check some of these names out that you haven't heard of, okay? I try to bring y'all something that everybody else ain't talking about. But anyway, you know the drill with the likes and the shares and the subscribes and the comments and all that. I appreciate all my subscribers. End this video like I end all my videos. Thank God works. And I hope you have a blessed rest of your day or night. One.